What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Modern Warfare 2 video. Today we're taking a look at the top 5 best guns you guys should be using. In Modern Warfare 2, there's quite a bit of changes here to the weapon progression system, how we unlock certain attachments for certain guns. I went ahead and switched a whole bunch of stuff up while almost simultaneously making it a little bit more simple to be able to unlock certain guns and attachments, and pretty much not making it so that you have to go up to like 70 levels for a specific gun. It can be up to like maybe 15 to 20, up to 30 levels sometimes, which makes your life a lot easier. So what I've gone ahead and done is actually take a whole bunch of these different guns that you unlock at a relatively lower level that are actually really good, max them out, got them all gold camo, and I'm giving you guys the best setups for them. With all that being said, let's hop into these class setups and give you guys everything you need to know. All right, for our first gear today, we're going to take a look here at the M4, probably everyone's favorite starting assault rifle in Modern Warfare 2. Of course, this is my first ever gold gun. I have a really good setup for it. That thing is going to encompass a whole bunch of different mobility attachments. You're going to be able to just absolutely dominate with this while having great stability, be able to hit some of your shots, making this an effective AR. So first thing in this, we're going to be using the Echoline GS-X. This is a silencer here. It's going to give you that sound suppression and recoil smoothness, which is a huge thing because there's a lot of visual recoil in this game. It's not like the guns have a ton of like real recoil where they bounce up and go super crazy, but the visual recoil of them kind of bounce around a little bit on your screen is just a little bit odd. So we got to be able to mitigate that as much as possible, and the Echoline is going to help us, conceal our position here. It almost feels like people just don't know where you are at when you have a silencer on entirely as opposed to being unsilenced. Even though a lot of people probably realistically aren't paying attention to their radar, just because I get people questioning me about, what are you looking up at in the corner, just as like, hey, the radar's up there. So clearly they don't use it, but you guys get what I'm saying. So anyways, the Echoline here is going to be our go-to here. You do lose a tad bit of damage range, but don't worry, we'll totally, deal with that. I mean, a lot of these maps are relatively smaller anyways, so you don't really notice it too much. Next up, we're going to go to the barrel section here. What we're going to do is we're going to go throw on the High Tower 20 barrel. This should be a pretty familiar looking barrel. That's because it's the Corvus Custom Marksman barrel from Modern Warfare 2019/Warzone. So this gives you bullet velocity, damage range, recoil control, and hipfire accuracy. Real good stuff here. This is a great barrel to have on your AR. You lose, of course, some of those mobility things like, ADS speed, movement speed, and hipfire recoil, but I mean, you really don't really care about that stuff. You just more or less care about getting, your extra recoil control, damage range, bullet velocity, that great stuff. And pretty much anything else after that is just icing on the cake. After that, on the barrel section, what we're going to do is we're going to go throw on the FSS Shark Fin 90. This is going to give us the aiming idle stability here. This is just a really good thing. It says it's a well-rounded angled foregrip for those who prefer accuracy while on the move. That's definitely a huge thing because I feel like I'm very accurate, especially when I'm moving around, because you guys know I don't like to sit and camp around here, and this is definitely going to help you guys out quite a bit. So definitely go run the FSS Shark Fin 90 on this gun. It works out beautifully. I mean, I've used some of these other foregrips in here, but I just have been sticking with the Shark Fin 90. It's been great to me. After that, magazine section. This is kind of where it comes down to like a little bit personal preference on this one. Not between the 45 and the 60 round mag. I actually would just say to go, if you're going to go for a magazine at all in pubs, probably just go for the 45 round mag, just because you're going to feel a little bit too slow with 60. And honestly, with the TTK being so fast, you can actually get away with not running a magazine at all on some of these other guns. And you could probably switch this out for like an optic or something like that if you realistically don't like the iron sights, which I actually personally am a fan of. Of course, now into the last thing, we're gonna go for the stock here. My face cam kind of covers that. There's almost like no good spot to put your face cam on this thing. But anyways, the Tempest P80 Strike stock. So I wanted to get a tad bit of mobility out of this gun, and this is what this allows me to do here without completely chalking my recoil. So sprint speed, aim walking speed, crouch movement speed, and aim down sight speed. Real good stuff right here. You lose a tad bit of recoil control and aiming stability here, but we can actually hop into the firing ranges, which is a brand new thing for Modern Warfare 2 to be able to hop in here. Well, we had the firing range back in Advanced Warfare, but now we actually have it here once again, and we had it, I think, in World War II. But anyways, you guys get what I'm saying. So let's actually hop in here. This is my full build, and we're gonna hop in and test this in the firing range, so you guys can be able to see that this thing has relatively low recoil. So there's that. It's very low recoil, very fast TTK, but that is super easy to be able to control. Granted, there's still a little bit of that muzzle flash, but I think they're gonna be working to patch that here in a future update. So like I said, you could always not use, maybe like an iron sight and go for like an optic instead of a magazine, but this is my build here, and it's pretty solid. Next, I'm gonna take a look here at the Vel 46, aka the MP7. So this thing is an incredible SMG. Of course, I got gold. This thing is a very, very easy to control SMG. I uploaded some gameplay with this, 70, 80 plus kills. I've gotten, you know, some MGBs, aka the TAC nuke with this thing, along with the M4, and it's a really, really good SMG. So first thing here, we're gonna go for the X10 RR-40. This is a silencer here for sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, recoil smoothness. Recoil smoothness is a huge thing, and also we're not really tuning any of our attachments. I think at the time I'm recording this video, they actually removed weapon tuning because it was causing crashing. So these are all like untuned weapons that you guys don't need to mess with, and they're going to be good even up until like you get them to max level, because you don't get weapon tuning up until max level. So this is our first attachment on this gun. We're skipping the barrel section because, well, frankly, a lot of the barrels just feel like it makes the gun worse, so we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to go use the Shark Fin 90 here once again, just increase our idle aiming stability here. Gives you a little bit of accuracy while on the move, which is definitely something that's pretty nice. And I've had some, you know, great, you know, success while actually using this thing. You guys can switch this out maybe if you really feel like, you know, using one of these other grips down here. It comes down to a little bit more personal preference and what you feel like you can control the recoil best with. But a lot of these down here, you lose a lot of, like, you know, mobility, and I don't really want to lose that, specifically when I got an SMG and I'm trying to be super fast. After that, we're gonna go to the magazine. And like I said, for, you know, pretty much anything else, you could run like, you know, a 30 round mag. I'm at the base 30. I prefer to have like the 50 round on here just because it gives me a little bit more ammo, but it's not 60 to the point where I'm slowing myself down too much. I'm still keeping a large, you know, portion of my mobility while getting a lot of ammo. This is perfect because the TTK is super fast. If there was like, you know, like a Black Ops 4 time to kill where it was, you know, pretty long, I'd probably say to go for something like a 60, but in public match multiplayer for Modern Warfare 2, this is perfectly fine. After that, we're gonna go straight in here to the rear grip. We're gonna go for the Schlager Soldier Grip. That's kind of a weird one to be able to say, but sprint to fire speed and ADS speed. This great little rear grip here kind of almost reminds me of the stipple grip tape from Modern Warfare 2019. Great stuff here. You lose a tab of recoil control, but this thing's gonna be pretty easy to manage. And then lastly, in the stock section, we either have the collapse stock, or my other personal favorite is going to be the Demo RTX stock. So this one's most likely, realistically right here, the Demo RTX could be a lot easier to control than the collapse. This is kind of like a little bit more of a higher recoil one, but higher movement capabilities. So I'll actually go through on this one here to be able to show you guys the firing range, but this is my full build here with this thing. So let's hop to the fire range, just at least be able to show you guys how this thing performs. So as you can see, I'm pulling down the stick here just a little bit, but overall, very, very easy to be able to control. Of course, it's an SMG, so at those medium-ish ranges, not gonna be that great, but at close range, you're gonna be absolutely frying people, and that's what SMGs are used for here in Modern Warfare 2. So, you guys can see, great gun. Now let's hop on to our next one. All right, next up, we're gonna take a look here at the TAC 56, aka the Scar. So this is one of my favorite ARs to use from the beta. It's actually still really good here in the official release of the game. They did try to nerf it, I think, a little bit, but it's pretty much still like an incredible AR you guys definitely should be using. So first thing, we're gonna go for the Echolist-80. Sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, recoil smoothness. This is a really solid silencer attachment for this gun. Kind of keeps you a little bit more so like under the radar. A lot of people don't be looking at the radar, their mini-map anyways, but it seems like when you have a silencer, people just literally don't know where you're at. I'm not sure if it's just they just don't have their headsets turned on or what, but this in comparison to straight up going loud, no silencer, makes a difference even if people aren't using the radar. After that, underbarrel section, once again, we're gonna go for the Shark Fin 90. This is a real solid grip right here. Kind of reminds me like the Commando 4 grip from Modern Warfare 2019. It just works really great on a whole bunch of different guns. It doesn't slow you down really much, so this is kind of like that. After that, we're gonna go to the magazine section. We're gonna go through on the 40 round mag, and the reason we're not, of course, running the 60 here is because this gun's now got a super high fire rate, so we don't feel like we're gonna burn through ammo that fast. But of course, you know, 60 round mag or a 40 is gonna work out like pretty much, you know, pretty solid either way. You just will lose more mobility with a 60 round mag, and I like to be able to have mobility, considering a lot of these guns in this game kind of feel a little bit clunky, and so I want to make sure I have as much mobility as possible for an AR build. After that, in the rear grip section here, we're gonna go for the FSS Combat Grip. This is gonna help out with our recoil control, pretty much make this thing a little bit more of a laser beam. I like this attachment here quite a bit, and it just helps stabilize this gun out. And then lastly, in the stock section, we're gonna go for the TV Cardinal stock, aim walking speed and sprint speed. This is actually a really fun one to be able to use, considering I love to be able to, of course, ADS when I'm actually using my gun, and this is just helps give me a little bit more mobility. It says it lowers your aiming stability, but you guys will be able to see here when we hop into fire range, as this is my full build right here, that we will actually be able to use this gun very, very effectively at those medium-ish ranges. Very easy to be able to use, pretty much like a laser beam. I mean, you can burst it just a little bit there, but overall, super easy to be able to use. Very low recoil, and of course it looks absolutely beautiful with this gold camo. It doesn't look like mustard or something like that. People must have some like wrong settings on their PC if their gold camo is looking bad, but this is a good setup for the TAC 56. Next up, we're taking a look here at the PDSW 528, aka the P90. So this is a really fun gun to be able to use here. I've had a blast. This is one of my more recent guns. I actually got gold here. It was last night. I'm just having an absolute blast using this thing. But a first attachment on here is gonna be the FTAC series IX 14.5 barrel. It's a longer barrel that has been fluted to reduce weight, a faster, more precise barrel, damage range, hipfire accuracy, movement speed, and bullet velocity. You lose some of the, you know, overall controllability of this gun, but don't worry about that. Like it's very, very easy to be able to control, and I really like using this barrel. After that, we're gonna go to the laser section. We're gonna use the Hipshot L20. This is just a 5 MW laser, hip recoil control, and of course hipfire accuracy. This comes in pretty clutch when you get in those super close quarter situations, but if you don't want to run this, you could probably throw in like a silencer or something like that if you want to stay silenced. This would be one of those attachments which you could switch out, and it won't be like the end of the world. But I've had actually a lot of fun being able to run around and then just be able to like whip out my gun and hip fire, and you got like 50 rounds in the magazine, so it's kind of ridiculous, and it works out real well. After that, we're gonna go down here to the very bottom for the rail section. This is kind of more unique to this gun, but we run the GR33 light rail. This pretty much actually changes the way the iron sights and everything look on this gun, and you actually gain movement speed out of this. So you lose the optic rail and you lose a tad bit of recoil control, but you guys will be able to see when we go to use this gun, it's really not that bad. You guys could also go for the integrated reflex, which is going to give you kind of more or less an integrated red dot, but I kind of prefer just to have the GR33 light rail and use the iron sights. After that, we're gonna go to the rear grip section here. We're gonna go for the Bruin Q900 grip. Sprint to fire speed and ADS speed. Real great stuff here. To lose, like I said, a little bit of recoil control, but don't worry about that. And lastly, we're gonna go into the stock section. We're gonna go for the CQB stock, crouch movement speed, sprint speed, and ADS speed. And once again, you technically lose a little bit of recoil control, but I'll show you guys here in the firing range that, you know, after this is my full build right here, but I'll show you guys in a second here that this doesn't really matter. So we'll use this gun. Very easy to use. Like I said, a tad bit of recoil. You guys could probably build this maybe a tad bit more so for recoil control capabilities, but when you actually use this gun, I mean, I personally find it really fun to be able to use and super effective. You just got to burst at some of those ranges, and overall this will be great. So you can just like run, hip fire people. I mean, dude, I mean, it's very simple. Like, it's very easy to use. And last but not least, we're gonna be taking a look here at the STB 5.56, aka the AUG. So let's hop into this here. First thing we're gonna go through is throw on the Echoline GS-X here. This is a silencer for sound suppression and recoil smoothness. A really good silencer to have on this gun. This gun actually, frankly, when you have it even just by itself, like stock, no attachments on it, is actually incredible. So you don't really have to mess this thing too much. Sometimes it feels like when you add attachments on the guns, they almost get worse. And this is one of those guns that is incredible stocks. We're not trying to mess with it too much, as it's really good. At that barrel section, you go through on the 18 Bruin Gorilla, a very early unlock barrel, heavy barrel with integrated rail system. This gives you that recoil control, bullet velocity, all real good stuff here to have on this gun for public match multiplayer. You don't really need too much that, you know, you don't need to worry too much about the cons here, the movement speed and ADS speed. At that, we're gonna go throw on the shark fin barrel here, under barrel once again, just to increase our overall aiming stability while we're on the move. This would be really good for you guys. And down here on the magazine, we're gonna go through on the 42 round mag, just to increase our overall magazine ammo capacity. The 30 round mag on this thing actually feels pretty solid, so you guys, if you don't want to actually waste an attachment on that, you don't have to, but I personally like having the 42 round mag on this thing. And then lastly, we're gonna go to the optic section. We're gonna throw on the SZ Mini. But realistically, in the optic section, pretty much any red dot you guys happen to have unlocked will be perfectly fine. You don't have to run the SZ Mini. You can even go from the iron sights, because the iron sights I enjoy using, but this just helps you have a little bit more clarity. So this is my full build for this gun. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, give it a like, subscribe, notifications turned on, and I'll see you all later. Just search for Captain P. Randy, and I'm out. Peace.